She was not happy. And beware, folks. AB might be talking to Becky throughout the game day. They're best friends. Run it out, Wilson.
What happens when absolute power collides with the quiet arrival of someone who refuses to be ignored? For years, Aya Wilson ruled women's basketball. MVP awards, championships, unquestioned authority, the undisputed face of the WNBA. But what do you do when a single phone call tells you that the future is moving forward without you? Behind closed doors, decisions were made, legacies were reconsidered, and the spotlight she believed belonged to her alone slowly shifted toward one player she had spent years trying to downplay, Caitlin Clark. Was it arrogance that blinded her, or fear of what she saw coming?
Caitlin Clark has captured the basketball world.
Yeah, it's pretty
This is not a story about box scores or highlight reels. This is a story about ego, rivalry, and how a carefully nurtured resentment can become the very force that ends a dynasty. Because in the end, the most dangerous opponent is not the one you challenge publicly. It is the one who replaces you while you are still admiring your reflection. The foundation of this story was laid over 2 years of growing tension. To understand how we arrived at this moment, we must go back to 2022, when Aya Wilson sat comfortably at the absolute summit of women's basketball. Picture it, MVP trophies displayed proudly in her home.
First time, Wilson is watching the moment she found out she won that third MVP trophy.
Championship rings sparkling under every camera flash. Lucrative endorsement deals with major brands competing for her attention. Magazine covers. Feature stories. Television analysts calling her the greatest player of her generation without hesitation. She had everything. And everyone knew it.
Even before Sunday, Clark was on a record-breaking...
Every morning, when Wilson looked in the mirror, she saw someone who had clawed her way to the top through talent, discipline, and relentless work. She saw a woman who had earned the unquestioned right to be the center of attention in her sport. She had no intention of sharing that spotlight with anyone, certainly not with some college player from Iowa who had yet to prove anything at the professional level. Then Caitlin Clark happened, and everything Wilson believed about her place in the basketball universe began to shift. Clark did not enter the conversation quietly. She did not wait her turn. She did not climb slowly. She exploded into public consciousness like a meteor tearing through the atmosphere, leaving broken records and stunned defenders behind her.
Look at Clark. Yes!
Clark hits the three. Too much space. Nearly 10 minutes.
Suddenly, arenas were selling out weeks in advance. Every game, she played shattered television ratings the league had chased for decades. Every highlight reel across every major sports network was dominated by her impossible 30-foot three-pointers. Women's basketball had found a phenomenon, and the world was watching.
Caitlin Clark is Time Magazine's 2024 Athlete of the Year.
She played with supreme confidence and fearless competitive fire, the kind that reminded older fans of legends they thought they would never see again. The media could not get enough. Casual fans who had never watched women's basketball before were now setting their DVRs specifically for her games. And Aya Wilson, the woman who believed she was the rightful queen of this kingdom, could not handle it. Instead of celebrating what Clark was doing for the sport, instead of recognizing that a rising tide lifts all boats, instead of understanding that millions of new viewers would eventually benefit everyone, Wilson made a decision that would later haunt her. She decided Caitlin Clark was not a colleague, not an ambassador, not a partner in growth. She decided Clark was her enemy. The campaign began quietly. So quietly that most people dismissed it as coincidence. A liked post questioning Clark's legitimacy. A cryptic tweet undermining her achievements. Carefully timed throwbacks to her own accomplishments whenever Clark broke a record. Whenever Clark shined, Wilson's social media suddenly reminded everyone of her past glory. Pointed commentary about what real greatness looked like. And when Clark won Time Magazine's prestigious Athlete of the Year award, an honor that should have been celebrated as a victory for women's sports everywhere, Wilson did not join the celebration. Her online presence radiated skepticism and barely concealed resentment. The message was unmistakable. Clark was not a rising star in her eyes. She was a threat, an existential threat to everything Wilson believed she had built. Here is the truth about jealousy. It never stays hidden. It leaks into interviews through loaded phrases like real impact and sustained excellence. It appears in passive-aggressive remarks that grow sharper with time. It shows when questions about Clark are deflected, when praise is avoided, when achievements are minimized. Wilson made the fatal mistake of turning every Clark success into a personal attack on her own legacy. She made it about herself, not about the growth of the sport, not about history, not about progress. She convinced herself she was defending veterans. In reality, she was defending her ego from an uncomfortable truth. Someone younger, more marketable, and more magnetic had arrived. What she did not know, what she could not know, was that Team USA officials were watching. Every interaction, every comment, every reaction. And they were taking notes. Because behind the scenes, something else was being evaluated. The secret flaw nobody talks about. While the media focused on awards and statistics, there was another story quietly unfolding.